Okay. Is my head cut off? Doesn't matter. um, okay, let's see here. A few notes on my phone so I don't forget anything. Hello and welcome. My name is Jean Lotus. Go ahead. You want to make that the whole screen?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, why don't you do that? So, okay. This year, Costa Rica and dozens of other countries are on the edge of a historic new era with the legalization of cannabis, maybe, and industrial hemp, which I call the second chance crop. My name is Jean Lotus. I'm from Colorado, and I served on the state's Colorado Hemp Advancement and Management Plan to craft the deliverables for our hemp blueprint for the state of Colorado. And one thing about the state of Colorado that you may know is that we legalized recreational marijuana in 2014. And since then, we have gained $2 billion in tax revenue from the legalization of recreational marijuana. But I want to tell you that $2 billion is nothing compared to the opportunity of industrial hemp. Let's see if we can get this to go. So the opportunity with industrial hemp is 10 times that of cannabinoid hemp. Because the hemp plant is very versatile, I'm not going to talk today about grain at all, but I'm sure when Jeff Whaling spoke earlier over there, he talked about the protein market. But what I'm talking about is the fiber market. So I'm going to talk about 3 trends that I see happening for industrial hemp in the next 3 years, 2022 to 2025. Let's see. Come on, little guy. So 65 countries have legalized industrial hemp in 2022. The United States legalized industrial hemp in 2018, but as we know, the market has been slow, and farmers jumped onto the cannabinoid market, and then they kind of ignored fiber and grain. But there are opportunities for industrial uses of hemp to make value-added products in Costa Rica. So the first trend I'm going to talk about is from the hemp plant to natural, non-woven fiber. You can see this white material here on my left is a non-woven fiber. It's made from the outer bark of the hemp plant, what's called the bast fiber. And you can see the steps it takes. Usually, when we talk about making things out of natural plants, a lot of companies turn to trees, cellulose and viscose, to make natural fibers. But industrial hemp is an amazing plant. In 120 days, you can basically generate the same amount of fiber as an acre of forest, logging, growing the forest for over 20 years. So, let's see. Hemp is really making some inroads in natural fiber nonwovens. This is a lot easier path than going to textiles. I'm wearing a dress today that is made of hemp. This textile was made in China, and the Chinese never outlawed the industrial uses of hemp, and they have been really surpassing almost all the textiles that have hemp in them. Obviously, they are blends with other fabrics or other textiles, or sorry, yarn, cotton, and hemp. But the nonwovens are a lot easier path to take. And the reason this is significant is that big companies like Procter & Gamble and Unilever are desperately looking for natural fiber solutions to replace their plastics in disposable baby wipes, cleaning wipes, which are now made of polypropylene and polyester. They look to the forests to get wood pulp, but we know that hemp is the answer that a lot of companies are looking at. Oh, so here is the product that is the problem. These wipes are made of plastic, and we hear a lot about plastics in the ocean, but governments are really worried about the public threats of plastics in our sewers. This is a fatberg. It's cooking fat and plastic wipes pulled from the sewers of Great Britain. This is happening all over the world where people are throwing these wipes away. So these big companies know that they are one government resolution from being shut down with making wipes out of plastic. Can you make wipes out of cotton? Yes, but they are not strong enough. Hemp and other bast fibers are much stronger. So this is a company, this is a factory in North Carolina that is owned by Georgia Pacific. It has just been acquired by a hemp company called Bast Fiber Tech from Canada. Right now they make cotton into like bandages and other antibiotic and clean fibers, but they are going to be adding hemp. This is something that Costa Rica could do. This is going to be a huge market for this raw material that is made into wipes out of natural fibers. So, let's see. The second thing I want to talk about is this is my favorite subject, which is the building materials made of hemp. Now, European countries have really taken the lead on this. They have been building with hemp since the 1990s. This building right here is in Paris, France. It is made of hemp and lime insulation. It's insulated with hemp and lime, something called hempcrete. And if my husband could come up. This is the material. This is hempcrete. I'm going to pass it around. It is non-load bearing. It is not cement. It's an insulation material. It's about half plant matter and half lime, but it is very widely used in Britain and France and other countries. you hear? So we talked about the fiber. That is the outer bark of the hemp, and you can see the inner bark, which is called hurd. It's basically a wood product. Hemp grows very quickly, so you can generate this wood product very quickly, and then you can put it in the insulation. Right now in the United States, there's more demand for hurd for building than there is for the fiber. So hempcrete, to be quick about it, is flame resistant. You can see that it's really a form of stone. It turns back into limestone. It's also pest repellent and mold resistant. And it takes, 90 to 120 days to grow. So here are some buildings that are built with hempcrete in Europe. The one on the far left, on my left, is a Marks and Spencer department store in Great Britain that is built with hempcrete. The one on the other side is an Italian multi-story building. The one in the middle is another Paris building. It's used a lot in Europe for renovations. So you can see it's plastered on the outside. The hempcrete is inside the building, inside the walls. It's not visible from the outside. So I'm going to just show you a few hemp houses from around the world here. This one is my favorite. This is in Australia. It's really beautiful. The one with those are goats on that one is in Serbia. This one is in the United States, in California. And this one is in Mexico, in Tulum. So clearly, in Costa Rica, when we have ecotourism here, building with hemp is a great idea to basically draw tourists in and have a very ecologically friendly building. So, okay, so this building was built in Paris this year with hempcrete, and they used a block material. So I'm going to show you how the blocks are used. So you can see that if you take a look at the block there, it's not load-bearing, it can't be cement, but it can be used with another load-bearing system. Come on, little guy. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's see if we can get this to go. Oh. Forgive my poor speakers on this. This is in Australia, but this company is actually going to be building their manufacturing blocks in the United States as well. So the other great thing about hempcrete is that it moderates temperature and humidity, so you do reduce air conditioning costs. And with the Americans that are retiring to Costa Rica who are pumping up the air conditioning, we want them to get over that and just let the building be their air conditioner and be nice and cool for them and everyone. Okay. So the third opportunity I'm going to talk about is, the green building material. Well, I forgot to mention, they think that by 2025, the green building materials industry is going to grow to $383 billion. So we have the Green Building Council of Costa Rica here that can help spread the word. Okay. Trend number 3, carbon credits. So the construction industry really needs to reduce its carbon footprint. Construction causes 40% of the greenhouse emissions and 25% of the landfill waste worldwide. So here in Costa Rica, we have PSA for farmers who get a tax credit for not farming in a ecologically damaging way. Carbon offsets for green construction are the next step. It's actually easier to calculate carbon offsets for a building than it is for agricultural land. It's easier to verify. So what happens is if you build the building with hemp, which has sequestered a lot of carbon, and then you can basically cut your what's called embodied carbon out of your building right from the start. So there are a lot of companies that are purchasing voluntary carbon credit offsets. Microsoft, Cargill, General Mills, other big companies. But the UN has developed standards starting in November for carbon certified emission reduction credits. And those can be extended to, those are credits that the government would buy, and those can be extended to buildings as well as projects such as renewable energy, windmills, geothermal, etc. And what is the difference? Why is there a difference between operational and embodied carbon? If you look at that orange line, that is the amount of carbon that goes into a house when you're building it, just from the building materials. For example, insulation, rock wool insulation actually causes 30% of the greenhouse gases in a new build before the house is even built, just the manufacture of that insulation. So if you want to go out 30 years for a home and reduce the carbon, you have a very steep hill when the building is first built because of all of the carbon that has been used to build it. Now the tiny little green, the dark blue line is the house that's built with hempcrete, okay? That house has had low emissions all the way from the beginning. So you can see by the time it hits 30 years, it hasn't really changed all that much. The blue is the operational carbon, the heating and cooling and other electricity that you use to heat in the house. Come on. So the United States Department of Energy has thrown in um, their weight behind hemp, uh, what's known as hemp bat fiber insulation. This is made from the outer bark. They are actually supporting a company called Hempatecture that is basically, they're giving them testing support and also helping them market the material. So they are very interested in decarbonizing, locking the carbon into a building material, putting it in the wall for 60 years, and not uh, and not and basically counteracting the rest of your construction. So, so a couple things I just want to mention with these three opportunities, just a couple things to look out for, to take caution with. Um, for the hemp non-wovens, the genetics for fiber hemp have not really been, they are not yet really stable in Mexico and Colombia, which are the two countries that will probably be generating the most raw material in the next couple years. They have been focusing, I mean, Colombia has been focusing on cannabinoid hemp, but we know that in other countries, we know there's a lot of bamboo here in Costa Rica. I saw it as even when we were driving. There are a lot of other countries have had success with other bast fibers like canaf and bamboo and jute. So those are well established in the tropics, and we need the genetic stability for industrial hemp to be grown in tropical climates. Also, Georgia Pacific is kind of buying up all of the patents for non-woven fibers, so that's one of the things to look out for if that is something that entrepreneurs here want to get involved with. You have to make the right corporate partners to create the feedstock. Georgia Pacific is a paper company, but they also are very interested in making this non-woven natural fiber material. So the second thing we talked about, hemp building materials, equatorial climates. You can't just use the measurements that the Europeans are using for equatorial climates. You need to make the walls a little bit thinner. If they are, usually the European buildings are about 1 foot thick. You have to make it about 8 inches thick. I don't know what that is in centimeters, but it's 3/4 the thickness. So there's more research that needs to be done for the ideal thing, but the researchers in Mexico who are building right now with hempcrete, they are making the walls thinner to make sure that the humidity is not too, the indoor humidity is not too strong. And finally, carbon credits. Right now, the carbon credit market is really, the people who are making the money are the verifiers, not the actual farmers or the builders, it's the people who are sort of verifying the credits. So that needs to evolve a little bit, and it will in the next 2 or 3 years. The UN tried to start out with CER payments, and those became controversial because people were just building a hydroelectric dam near, indigenous people and flooding, just to get the carbon credits. So they are taking a little more care now with the new carbon credit program. The other thing is, I think that blockchain will be used to track carbon credits, and as we know, the blockchain world is full of fraudsters, and so we need to make sure that any kind of carbon credit program has a, is fungible and verifiable, and that the money actually goes to the people who are doing the sequestering the carbon. So this is me. Please reach out if you have any questions. I am a journalist. I edit a free magazine online called Hemp Build Magazine. And I am always very interested in anybody's building project. If anyone has any questions, please feel free. Thank you so much. There we go. Oops, trying to turn this off. Well, we haven't had any questions, but if anybody has any.